Good morning, and welcome to the 60th Annual Commencement Ceremony at Governor Livingston High School. I ask you to join me in acknowledging our Board of Education members and District Administrators. Central Office Staff and Board of Education, Dr. Melissa Varley, Mr. Scott McKinney, Mr. Doug Reinstein, Mr. Bill Casano, Dr. Gerard Crisanino, Mr. Michael Diaquila, Mrs. Helen Kirsch, Mrs. Angela Penna, Ms. Christine Riley, Mr. Dante Joya, Mrs. Donna Felizzola, building principals, directors, and supervisors, Mr. Robert Nixon, Mrs. Tara Oliveira, Mrs. Jackie Bartlett, Dr. Ashley Janasco, Ms. Ann Clifton, Mr. Michael Scara, Ms. Michelle Gardner, Mr. Frank Geiger, Mrs. Grace Acosta, Ms. Patty Gasparini, Mr. John Morsau, Mrs. Jessica Nardi, Mrs. Ann Corley Hand, Mr. James Finley, Mr. Stephen Hopkins, Mr. Kevin Mora, Ms. Lori Scott, and Mr. Drew Ziobro.
Good morning. Mr. McKinney, Mr. Reinstein, parents, family, friends, faculty, and guests. I welcome you all to the Governor Livingston High School graduation program. I would like to ask that you please rise and direct your attention to the flagpole where the ceremonial claymore has been placed into the rock. This tradition symbolizes the start of our graduation ceremony. The students will now be led onto the field by the senior class advisors, Mr. Daniel McGovern and Mrs. Megan Ranitz. Graduates, please rise. Please remain standing. Says Sophia Zarelli will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Then please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by Macy Campano.
Good morning. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wonderful job, Macy. Thank you. At this time, Senior Class President Macy Campano will present the Senior Class Gift to School.
On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to present the Senior Class Gift. This year, under these unique circumstances, we have decided to plant a tree on the GL campus. Recently, GLHS has become the first high school in New Jersey that is also a national arboretum. This tree will represent the class of 2020 on this campus and be a symbol of the strength that the class of 2020 demonstrated through these very trying times. Finally, as we say goodbye to Governor Livingston, the class of 2020 offers a special goodbye to our retiring staff members, Mr. William Ayers and Mrs. Deborah Fettinga. We thank them for making Governor Livingston a special place and wish them a long and happy and healthy retirement.
Please be seated. At this time, please welcome Christopher Rampalpino, who will present the commencement address for the class of 2020.
You know, I've never understood how imagining the audience naked was supposed to make you any less nervous. I mean, honestly, I'm just a bit uncomfortable right now. But at least Mr. Nixon's sitting over there behind me, because, goddamn, that is just one image I do not want to be thinking or seeing or imagining while I'm trying to do this. So thank you for sitting there. Also, to ensure clear communication with this social media generation, hashtags and pop culture references will be used, so hashtag you're welcome. So with all that being said, good morning, Dr. Varley, Mr. McKinney, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Lixon, Ms. Oliveira, Ms. Bartlett, faculty, family, friends, and of course, classmates. Before I continue, I want to give a special shout out and thank you to our superintendent, Board of Education, GL administration, PTO, and our class advisors, Mr. McGovern and Ms. Ranitz, for today. This COVID-19 pandemic has turned everyone and everything upside down and sideways. And I can't thank them enough for all the hours and effort they've invested in trying to make the end of our senior year as memorable as possible. The picnic and gala were both great and awesome opportunities to have, and I know our project graduation on July 26th will be just as fabulous. Although, on a personal side note, I don't think anything will top Pranav Kasula being named our Gala King last night. The class photo was also very much appreciated, and we are all very grateful. As I was saying, the class photo was also very much appreciated, and we are all very grateful that we were able to have this in-person graduation today. So, all of us graduating seniors recognize and value all the work you've done for us these past 4 months. So, thank you. Yeah, you can clap. Okay. Now, graduates, I don't know if you know me, but I'm Chris, and yes, we went to high school together. You may not have seen me in the halls, but I promise I was there all 4 years, same as you. If you don't know me, feel free to follow me on Insta at CrampHallSwim or on my Joe Scalora curated Finsta at CrampHallDrown2K16. So even if you don't know me or follow me on my Insta, I want to give you and everyone else a big congratulations for being here today, for both surviving this long and actually completing high school. The world that we live in is plagued with dangers, like COVID-19, HIV/AIDS, climate change, and of course facial acne. And yet, despite all the odds, we still managed to graduate, so let's have a big round of applause for all of us. Now, it was only 4 years ago that we came to the labyrinth known as Governor Livingston. As timid young freshmen, we found ourselves lost in its halls, feeling as though they were the changing staircases of Hogwarts. We danced to lyrics that we did not understand in the song Despacito, and we said YOLO and word as if we were supposed to. So thank goodness we have yeet and bet to spice things up now, right? We witnessed the fantastic spectacle that was the 2016 presidential election with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And back then, we desperately hoped that our iPad cases actually worked and had Bluetooth typing. Surprise, they never did. I know that was a foolish dream on my part, but I still believed and clung to that dream for far longer than I should have. Hashtag Go Highlanders. Though nervous as sophomores, we started getting the hang of things. And junior year for many of us brought experience, aka stress eating and freaking out over AP exams, SAT tests, and an absurd workload. And yet, here we are, done with high school. As Charles Dickens put it, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Now we are through the stressful days of project presentations, the back-to-back chapter tests, the always legendary Friday Night Lights football games. We have survived being told, you have 2 weeks to clean up your social media or else. And we have witnessed the rise of TikTok and its sometimes popular, always addicting dances. We've definitely been through a lot these past 4 years and have experienced a lot of what life has to offer. But as seniors currently listening to me deliver this graduation speech, we are through, now afflicted and overwhelmed with the crippling disease of senioritis. So, since we are now at the end of our careers as students, we have an opportunity. We have the chance to take on the world and to find and pursue our passions, to quote unquote, leave a legacy. Being the professional speechwriter that I am, through my research on Google and YouTube, I found that the best way to end a graduation speech was to end with a challenge for me and my classmates, a way to improve ourselves as we embark on the next chapter of our lives. I thought about this for a bit, and I eventually came to a conclusion. This makes no sense to me, and for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, everyone take a look around. So classmates, take a look at your left and right. Parents, look at each other. This is one damn good class if I've ever seen one. I mean, when I look at our class, I see future professional athletes and a potential Olympic star, future politicians, future doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, musicians. I could go on and on all day. Reason number 2, COVID-19. We've been to hell and back with remote learning, quarantine, and just the canceling of literally our entire lives, so enough said. All in all, this is hands down one of the most gifted, one of the most accomplished, and one of the most determined classes ever. To say that we should improve ourselves and try to be better in the future is an insult to our current selves, our memory, and our legacy. We have already done so much, and we should remember and honor our work. Graduates, rather than leave you all with a challenge, I instead leave you all with a declaration, a class mantra to remember as you move on to the next chapter of your life. As you have been, so you will be. As you have been strong, so you will continue to have mental and physical toughness in all situations and problems that you face. As you have been a pioneer, so you will continue to be a leader who is a guiding light for others to follow. As you have been clever, so you will continue to be an intellectual thinker who solves problems and comes up with outside-the-box solutions to get things done. Here at GL, we have all thrived and enjoyed nothing but absolute success. And I know that in the future, we will continue to shape and improve our society and the people around us for the better. The GL class of 2020 will make its mark in history and permanently change the world. And I can only imagine what kinds of accomplishments this class will produce, not just in the near future, but for the decades to come. It's been a wild ride these past 4 years, but I've enjoyed every second of it. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Thank you for everything. #GL forever.
Thank you, Christopher, for your thoughtful remarks. Parents, families, friends, Board of Education members, faculty, administration, and honored guests, welcome to the 60th Governor Livingston High School Commencement Ceremony. Today, in the most unique of our ceremonies in GL's 60 years, we honor our 2020 graduates and award them diplomas for meeting the standards established by the state of New Jersey and the Berkeley Heights Board of Education. Through hard work and dedication, our students have far exceeded these requirements and expectations during their time together through the schools in their respective districts. Today, we are lucky to be together in person as we celebrate all that our seniors have already accomplished to this point and move our focus onto what great things these students have to offer the world. I want to extend my thanks to the faculty and staff here at Governor Livingston High School. They do a great job working with our students and support them in so many ways. This year presented challenges unlike any other, and their effort was nothing short of amazing. I'd also like to thank our groundskeeper, Antonio, Johan, our head custodian, and his team for all that they do. We have a beautiful 43-acre campus here, and they worked extremely hard to make this look great for our ceremony today. I want to recognize our superintendent, Dr. Melissa Varley, who unfortunately, due to quarantine rules, cannot be here with us. I would also like to recognize Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Scott McKinney, and the School Business Administrator, Mrs. Donna Felizzola. Finally, I'd like to thank my administrative team, who skillfully persevered throughout this past school year. They are amazing. Please join me in thanking Mrs. Oliveira, Mrs. Bartlett, Dr. Janasco, Ms. Hayes, who served as interim for Dr. Janasco, and Ms. Clifton. I am extremely lucky to have this incredible group of professionals to work with. The class of 2020 has pushed itself to achieve at unprecedented levels. They are smart, they are athletic, they are talented, and they are involved. However, perhaps most importantly, they have set the bar high for future generations of Highlanders to live up to. They were able to find success academically during the midst of a global pandemic. More students than ever before in a single year at GL participated in AP exams. Several members of this class also boasted perfect SAT or ACT scores. Our Consumer Bowl team continued their dominance over Union County by bringing home the title once again. Our theater students tackled sensitive subject matter when they presented The Incomplete Life and Random Death of Molly Denholtz this past fall. Ever conscious to be supportive of their peers, they seized the opportunity to educate others by teaming with the counseling department to offer an outreach session called Whispers Inside These Walls, where students were invited to come and discuss some of the sensitive subject matter contained in the show. In an effort to give back to their school and community, Trend presented one of the most memorable Days of Realization events in recent memory, while other students did their part in making sandwiches for the Market Street Pantry. Athletically, the Highlanders won division championships in boys cross country, girls soccer, and girls basketball. They celebrated county and district champions in wrestling, and once again dominated the girls indoor track circuit. I would also be remiss if I did not recognize that we have in this class a 3-time New Jersey Gatorade Girls Track Athlete of the Year in Victoria Van Riel. Perhaps most impressively, while in the midst of a global pandemic, students from our school banded together to stand up for what is right and took on the fight against social injustice right here on their own doorstep. Student leaders, along with our social activism club and saga clubs, worked diligently to share their important message with students, staff, administration, and community leaders. These students are very special. The class of 2020 is and always will be special. This class has demonstrated great persistence and perseverance through the most challenging of times. But this toughness and these core values will be tested now that the class of 2020 will leave our campus and our communities as they enter the world. To that end, I would like to share a short, true story. Graduates, 28 years ago, when I was sitting where you are today, I would soon be starting a new summer job, one that I would hold for the next 5 summers. I worked as a landscaper, cutting lawns and creating gardens to earn extra money for college. As you can imagine with that experience, when I bought my own home, I was excited to apply these skills that I had developed on my own property. In particular, I planted hydrangeas on both sides of my front porch. You see, I love to spend time at the Jersey Shore with my family, and I've always admired how beautiful the flowers on these plants are. To my great disappointment, as tall as they grew, year after year, they never grew any flowers. For over a decade, everybody else who grew them in my neighborhood had amazing blue, violet, or purple flowers year after year, including my neighbor Olga, but not me. Frustrated and disappointed, I asked her after the summer of 2018, what am I doing wrong? Why does she have these incredible flowers and I can't grow a single one? She shared a few tips with me, including that the soil in our area needs to be more acidic, that I should save my used coffee grinds and sprinkle them on the soil. The entire winter and spring, I saved my coffee grinds, spread them all over the soil, all around the hydrangeas, and when the spring turned into summer, nothing. Are you kidding me? I dumped more coffee over these things than you can imagine with no payoff. I continued to ask questions. Turns out I also shouldn't trim them at the end of the season, she told me. Okay. So I didn't trim them, which brings us to this spring. We're all at home in the midst of the global pandemic and in a time of great civil unrest. I had resigned myself to the fact that I was just going to rip them out as I'm preparing to do some work on my house. I sat outside the front porch to take a break from the workday, and I noticed these amazing buds covering all of my hydrangeas. I saw my neighbor and asked her if those were what I thought they were. And sure enough, my plants were loaded with soon-to-be flowers. And by the time they bloomed, there would be well over 200 flowers on my plants. So why did I share this story? Persistence and perseverance. It had paid off. Much like the class of 2020 had to during the most unique and challenging of senior years. You see, it's very easy to just accept a result, to let circumstances dictate your outcome. But what if that isn't acceptable to you? What if you aren't just okay with the state of social injustice in our country or with allowing a global pandemic to affect your life? Will you continue to accept just trying the same old things? Or will you change your approach? Will you ask for help and seek the advice of others? Will you choose to feed your soil differently as you do your part to make the world a better place for all people? I had to change my approach in order to change my result. It took a long time, and I wasn't successful because I gave up. I was successful because I was willing to change my approach and what I thought I knew. I hope all of you can look inside yourselves, consider your approach, and continue to persist and demonstrate grit as you navigate through a very challenging world. Graduates, you are ready to take on this challenge. You have shown us all that you are resilient and stronger than you know. We are extremely proud of you and wish you the best in all your future endeavors. Please remember that you are always Highlanders and your school will always be here for you. We look forward to seeing how each of you will go forward and make the world a better place. We're counting on you. Congratulations to the class of 2020. So at this time, as is appropriate for this school year, we would now like to virtually share Dr. Varley's remarks, who was unable to join us in person this morning. Dr. Varley.
Welcome, everyone, especially our graduates. Welcome to your 2020 graduation celebration. I really wish I was there with you today, looking into your eyes and shaking your hands. Unfortunately, that is impossible since I travel to one of the states that is a mandatory quarantine according to the governor's order. When graduation ceremonies were canceled earlier this year, we could not imagine sending you off without celebrating this amazing milestone. I am so pleased that we have been able to come together and celebrate you and your accomplishments in person. There are so many people to thank. The Board of Education for all of their support, the professional staff for all of their hard work over the years helping you realize this moment, Mr. Nixon and his team for executing and planning the ceremony, your parents and families who loved, supported, and guided you through the good times and the bad, and finally, a big thank you to you, the graduates of the class of 2020, for your accomplishments, perseverance, and Highlander pride. Every teacher knows the power of the teachable moment. It is when the unplanned intersects the classroom or the athletic field, and a teacher or coach has the ability to drive home instruction. The most important teachable moments are those that allow us as educators to impart critical life lessons that will stay with our students forever. As disappointing and discouraging as the last several months of your senior year have been, it has also been the quintessential teachable moment. COVID-19 has shown us how fragile the tranquility of our everyday lives can be. It has shown us the preciousness of normalcy. It has thrown into stark disbelief the inequality and injustice experienced by so many of our fellow citizens. But it has also shown us the heroism of the human spirit, the potential of love to redeem ourselves and others, and the power of a collective action. COVID-19 has changed our world forever, but it is within your grasp to help forge a better future. Years from now, I hope you can look back on these difficult times and know that you held to unchanging principles of respect, dignity, hope, and perseverance, and they helped you make history. I look forward to hearing about it. It is now my distinct privilege to affirm the recommendation of the faculty of Governor Livingston High School and the endorsement of Principal Robert Nixon, certifying that the students seated before us have met the requirements of the Berkeley Heights Board of Education and the state of New Jersey for the conference of the state-endorsed high school diploma with all its rights and privileges. Berkeley Heights Board of Education President, Mr. Doug Reinstein, I now present the 2020 graduates of Governor Livingston High School for the award of their diplomas. Congratulations.
I would now like to introduce Mr. Doug Reinstein, President of the Board of Education.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. What a challenging last few months this has been. This class has navigated uncharted territories, requiring new ways to learn, new ways to interact with friends, even new ways to pick up a cup of coffee. But you adapted, you adjusted, and showed enormous resilience. On the contrary, you rose to the occasion. You transformed the remote learning opportunity, you embraced them, you worked to solve them, and you broke out of your comfort zone doing so. Simply put, the greatest challenges became the greatest opportunities for this class of 2020. You persevered. Wilma Rudolph once said, "Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit." We're all the same in this notion. The potential for greatness lives within each of us. Your achievements have been and will continue to be predicated on you believing in yourself, and knowing with certainty that what you want is indeed possible. This class of 2020 has already started. You reimagined the second half of your senior year through remote learning. You spoke out for change following the walkout after the shooting in Parkland, Florida. And as mentioned before, several of you participated in organizing the Black Lives Matters March, most recently in Berkeley Heights. Without a doubt, this class is a group of young men and women who have no problem entering the arena. You will achieve great success and learn a great deal from both your triumphs and your defeats. In closing, I received an email from a parent recently. I had a quote from Gregory Williams that I thought was very appropriate for this class. It said, "On the other side of the storm is the strength that comes from having navigated through it. Raise your sails and begin." On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we wish you success, happiness, and best of luck in wherever you choose to sail. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. This time I would like to ask Senior Class President Macy Campano to come up to the podium. She will be joined shortly by Student Council President Sophia Zarelli. They will read the names of each of our graduates.
Christopher Rampalpino. Dylan Caparelli. Megan Like. Nishka Abraham. Dylan Verschalizer. Zara Wonka. Olivia Chichimara. Matthew Zhao. Divya Thomas. Sabrina Ruban. Thomas Disco. Jillian Zimmerman. Allison Zimmerman. Thomas Lynn. Sophia Zarelli.
Matthew Cisneros. Taylor Charles. Connor Bigelow. Evan Rinaldi. Mitchell Zalis. Blaine Jory. Lucas Piccinini. Tony Ho. Michelle Hom. Hope Gillen. Claudia Maneri. Juliana Maneri. Antonio Pellegrini. Bryce Irvin. Alexander Ramey.
Nicholas Manna. Megan Connect. Benjamin Grimes. Olivia DeNorcio. Victoria Wojcik. Caitlin Kolodensky. Olivia Sodasanti. Emma D'Annunzio. Zoe Andre. Anna Freer. Erin English. Allison Hagan. Rachel Erdrich. Jace Ederman. Adrian Monahan.
Mia Montero. Harrison Kelly. Michael Bittner. Sean McCulloch. Michelle DeRose. Peter Wu. Luke Williams. Olivia Mastria. Ava Messler. Danielle Yablonowski. Adam Wu. Emmy Wilson. Brenna Riley. Daniel Quinn. Sarah Mason.
Justin Van Oostendorp. Michael Bruno. Sienna Joseph. Jared Abram. Samuel Bass. Elizabeth Fiamingo. Nicholas Ballman. Lucas Friedman. Daniel Feely. Lauren Cronin. Jocelyn Chen. Maxwell Bacaletz. Zachary Zacharaha. Diana Valverde. Shannon Polimeni.
Gabrielle Lombardi. Alana Moriak. Alexander Moriak. Alexandra Ganelli. Carson Stapleton. Alexa Miranda. Madison Lopes. Alec Wolf. Justin Ledzinski. Jane Mervis. Vincent Malusi. Julia McConaughey. Joshua Becerra.
Peyton Hopek. Connor Ville. Madison Collins. Taylor O'Nelly. Thomas Candeloro. William Broda. Christopher Provel. Taylor Rooney. Lauren Ziska. Jeffrey Stepien. Emily Murphy. Ryan Devaney. Charles Milano. Reed Kiernan. Jessica Dyer.
Alexandra Casu. Alexander Aranis. Alexander DeZagon. Jeremy Malave. Michael Del Sordo. David Schwartzman. George Skinner. Isabella Ng. Ava Reiner. Sheila Roth. Christian Isola. Jessica Polis. Christopher Polis. Jordan Guerin. David Martinez.
Matthew Sternheim. Amelia Gordon. Samantha Wallace. Evan Polita. Olivia Ruggard. Megan Buckley. Daniel Sternberg. Jonathan Sternberg. Kylie Sheridan. Shelby Senkarik. Emily Scheib. Valerie Diamond. Cody Tomchak. Maria Rivero. Benjamin Santori.
Well done, Ben. Special thank you to the Santori family and Garden State Fireworks for that. That was a lot of fun. So in closing, I would like to thank everyone for joining us here today to celebrate our graduation. As we conclude, I'd like to share a couple of reminders with you and with our graduates that as we'll be exiting and returning directly to your cars. After all graduates have exited, guests should follow suit, exiting in a reverse fashion from the entry and return directly to their vehicles so that we can follow social distancing and cleaning protocol and guests for Ceremony B can begin to enter the facility. We thank you for joining us, and we hope that you can return this afternoon between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. to take photographs on the field behind the high school. On behalf of Dr. Varley, Mr. McKinney, the Board of Education, and the faculty of Governor Livingston High School, I would like to congratulate the class of 2020 of Governor Livingston High School. One more round of applause for the class of 2020.